Hello, everybody. I am Kristen DeShaney, and I will be your host today for the Gaming Podcast, Episode 2. What we are currently playing is the topic of conversation today, and I have been playing a wide assortment of stuff. If anybody knows me, I normally would be playing Final Fantasy XIV Online for copious amounts of hours, doing raids, savage raids, ultimate raids. And I'm just simply not doing that because I'm taking a hard hiatus from the game. For those who don't know, I was a raid leader for my raid group in 14, and we had some issues with some of the members. I just didn't have the time anymore because of school and work, and my co-healer, our Astro, he just was at the point where he was rage quitting, and he was like, y'all aren't progging fast enough. And I'm like, well, I mean, you're going ahead of the group and progging ahead of us, so no wonder we're behind you. But anyway, it just ended up being a bad situation to be in. And once my co-healer rage quit the group, basically, I didn't want to go through the process of finding another healer, doing tryouts, making sure they know what they're doing on their job, making sure they fit in with the members in terms of personality, in terms of competency. I just didn't want to deal with it, and I just was so burnt out at that point that I just disbanded the raid group. And since that happened, I haven't played 14. I log in only to walk into my house so I don't lose my house, because on 14, if you don't know, you have to log in at least once a month and go into your private house that you own, or else your house will be forfeit and somebody can buy that plot of land. So I go into my free company house so I don't lose my free company, and I go into my personal house so I don't lose that. And that is all that I do on that game anymore, which is sad considering I have like 3,800 hours on it. It's just not been a great memory to go back to, honestly. The hiatus started on not great terms, which is, unfortunate, but it is what it is. It was much needed for my mental health and for my grades, certainly. Like, I don't regret, in hindsight, disbanding the raid group. I held off for so long because I did not want to give up my raid group. I did not want to give up my social group, the aspect that kept me going every day, getting to socialize with the same 7 friends and meme around and just do random shit. I didn't want to give that up because I knew as soon as I disbanded the group, we wouldn't talk anymore. And for the most part, I really don't talk to any of them anymore, which is heartbreaking. But that's the nature of, online games. They're all still playing 14 and I'm not. So that begs the question, if I'm not playing 14, what am I doing? Well, I'm doing a lot of work still. I'm doing a lot of school still. I mean, even right now, I'm working on schoolwork, working on homework. But this has been a wonderful opportunity for me to just take a step back and go back to the games that got me into gaming in the first place, which is single-player games. Games that I can play by myself, veg out, chill out, and just vibe to. And I got to go back to one of my favorite franchises and play some games that I had on my bucket list that I've been meaning to do for a while. First off, that would be the Resident Evil franchise. I love Resident Evil. It's so good. I started with the Resident Evil 2 remake and played that. I'm going to be honest, I've only played and replayed Leon's campaign because I'm a Leon simp. I haven't played Claire's campaign, but they're like basically the same campaign, so I don't understand why somebody would want to go and play Claire's campaign after you've done Leon's, because it's all like basically the same puzzles and the same map and stuff. I mean, she's got some different boss fights, which I guess is worth it, but one day I'll go back and do Claire's campaign just to see. But a few years ago is when I played Resident Evil 2 Remake, and it was long overdue that I finally played the Resident Evil 3 Remake. There was a lot of negative feedback on that game, saying that a lot of the original game's content from the PlayStation 1 game was cut from it, specifically the clock tower segment. For me, that doesn't matter, literally whatsoever, because I never played the original Resident Evil 3 from 1998. I didn't. So I don't know what's missing. I just want to know what it's like to play Jill Valentine and know the dynamic between Carlos and Jill, and, you know, just get to have fun with that. So I bought the game. Didn't care what the reviews were about it, because, you know, it's all up to what I think at the end of the day. And I got it on discount, probably for like $8 rather than like the $40 that it normally is, which I'm not gonna pay $40 since I know it's a short game, relatively short game. But I bought it, and I've played it, and I am probably in the last hour or two of gameplay, and oh my god, it has been so fun. The weird thing that I want to note from right off the bat is I did play the Resident Evil 3 demo before the game came out, and it was basically playing as Jill. It was basically the entire first part of the game, which is weird because they basically released the first part of the game for free. It, like, nothing changed. Nothing was omitted. Like, it was just like a straight up rip of the beginning of the game. Like, I don't know how that's beneficial for them. Like, I don't understand that. And I was disappointed when I played the game that, like, a third of it was just the demo that I had already completed. I was like, that's lame. What the hell? But other than that, it's been a lot of fun experimenting with the different weapons. There's more weapons than I originally knew about that Jill can use, and I didn't realize that you could play as Carlos in the late game, which, by the way, oh my god, that man. I love Carlos. He's such a funny character. And, you know, I don't think he was really expanded upon in the original Resident Evil 3. Like, nobody really talked about him. Nobody was like, oh yeah, I'm a Carlos stan. Like, nobody talked about Carlos. He was just kind of there. And now it's like in the Resident Evil community, people are like, I love Carlos Oliveira. And I'm like, you know what? I do too, because he's a freaking dope-ass character. He has the funniest lines in the game. He is such a fucking riot. And playing his segment in the hospital was it was just so fun, because he's like all this stuff that he would just spout out, like the part where he had to get into one of the doctor's offices, but there was a voice match recognition that kept him from staying out, and he's just like,
open sesame.
No voice match found.
Open sesame? It was just so funny. And then he walks up to a door in the RPD at one point, and he goes,
now here's a weird fucking door.
Oh my god, it was just so funny. He's such a meme, and I really hope that I can beat his voice actor one day, because what a guy. It's just awesome. But enough about that. Overall, I've just had such a great experience with the RE3 remake. It's been great. And I definitely highly suggest you play it if you're a Resident Evil fan. Staying on topic with Resident Evil, I have been doing my own playthrough of Resident Evil 4, the 2005 GameCube game. I have the Switch port of it, and I've been having a blast. I'll be honest, I don't think I've gotten through a third of it yet, because the game is broken up in the village segment, the castle segment, and then the island segment. And I am still at the tail end of the village section, if I remember correctly. The fact that it's one of the older games means that it has tank controls, which is pretty rough. Oh my god, somebody is stomping up the apartment stairs. Why do they always do this? Y'all are whack. Anyway. There are tank controls with that game, which I hate tank controls. It's so awkward to control. It's just not fun control scheme, in my humble onion. I hate it, and it's deterred me from playing it a little bit, which is a shame, because I'm really trying to finish the game before the RE4 remake comes out in March next year, which I'm so excited about, because RE4, the original RE4, is a game that it kind of took a deviation from the survival horror aspect. It kept it still, but it started to become more of an action game. And so the actions that Leon could do against the Ganados and the different enemies that show up in the game, you know, you could like suplex them, roundhouse kick them, CQC them. It was a lot of more action-based segments like that, quick time events, all that good stuff. The Resident Evil 4 remake is going to be more of a true-to-form survival horror, closer to Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village, which I'm so excited for. And I played the original RE4 with my brother, but I say played loosely because I made the decisions with him on like what guns to buy and what routes to take, but he was the one that did all the playing because he'd played it before. It was a lot faster and streamlined if he did it. So I just let him do it. Like, I'm just watching, you know. So I basically went through the whole game with him, but it's time for me to do my own playthrough of the game, you know, make my own decisions and just hang out by myself and, you know, play the game. So I've gotten a decent way through the RE4 or Switch port, and I've been meaning to go back to it. Since I'm at the end of RE3 remake, I'm going to finish that and then probably go back to 4 just when I feel like I'm motivated and have time, because, you know, school and work has me so tired that sometimes I get overwhelmed when it comes to playing video games, making decisions, video games that have decisions, video games that require focus, require patience, games that you haven't played before, so it requires you to think harder about what you're doing. That kind of stuff can just get tiring when you yourself are tired. So I'm hoping that in the next week or so I'll be able to play RE4 and I can stay focused on it. Aside from the Resident Evil games, I have been playing a couple multiplayer online games. One of them is an asymmetric horror game called Dead by Daylight. And I talked about it in the first episode of the gaming podcast with my good friend Lauren, who I got to play that game for the first time. Dead by Daylight is basically just like a sandbox asymmetrical horror game where there are 4 survivors and 1 killer, and all of those are people that are like playing online. And you have to like complete tasks as a group in order to escape the killer. And you know, you can die one by one until there's like one of you left, or he can just kill all of you, or you can all escape. You know, it is what you make of it, and it is, you know, like what perks and what items you bring with you help you survive or help you die faster. It's been a great time. Since I haven't been playing Final Fantasy, Dead by Daylight has been the game that I have been mindlessly playing the most. I don't want to go and check my Steam hours on it, because last I remember I was at 125 hours, and I started playing it like maybe a month and a half ago. So it's taken up a lot of my time, and you know, I've made some really awesome friends in the community. Particularly in the Resident Evil community, because if you've played Dead by Daylight, you'll know that a lot of horror IPs are involved in the game, such as horror icons like from movies, like Michael Myers is in it, Ghostface is in it, Pinhead is in it. There's a whole bunch more. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the guy with the chainsaw, he's in it. And then along with that, there's also video game IPs in the horror franchise. So there's a lot of Resident Evil DLC and characters you can play as, which, if y'all know me, I'm a Leon main. I just play a bunch of Leon. And if I don't play Leon, I play Jill. And if I don't play Jill, I play Carlos. Like, I'm a simple woman. I just do what I know. And on Twitter, I've connected with a lot of people in the Dead by Daylight community that are also Resident Evil fans, and we all play as like Resident Evil characters when we group up together. The community aspect of it has been super fun. It's been great. It's nice to make new friends in it. And despite how the game really doesn't have anything different happening in it, like it's not like a story game where like story beats are different. You have different objectives and the story itself progresses. Like this game has no story. Well, that's not true. The characters have lore, but the gameplay has no story. You're just doing stuff. You're just trying to escape a killer. So it makes it a lot easier to want to play it because there's not the stress of following the lore. There's not the stress of paying attention. You just do the actions and get it done, man. Get in there and hopefully get out, you know? It's just nice. And it's weird, you know, thinking about how the game is static. It stays the same. You have the same maps. You have the same objective. Just get out. And it really is what you make of it in terms of what perks and stuff you bring. So that's the big appeal for Dead by Daylight, which is kind of surprising for me when I started it, because a lot of people, when they start playing Dead by Daylight, they're like, this is just boring. It's just the same thing over and over again. But I don't know. There's something intoxicating about playing it. There's something fun about just getting your ass kicked, like, in different ways, but also in the same ways. But also, you get that dopamine hit when you use balanced landing and you run away from the killer faster because you used an exhaustion perk, and then you lose them, and then that's the only reason that you won the game, because you're the last person alive and you somehow found Hatch because of that. You know, it's stuff like that. It's very situational and rewarding in that way, and it's nice to play with other players. Aside from Dead by Daylight, I've been back in my Overwatch swing. Back when Overwatch came out, around like 2016, I think it was. I was a huge Overwatch 1 fan. I was a huge Overwatch 1 player. I had like 500 hours in the game, and it was like the only thing I would log into and play every day. And there was just a point where I just got tired of it. It was boring. Like, it's the same maps, first the same people, I'm playing the same heroes. Like, it's the same scenario as really Dead by Daylight, but I just played it for like 400 hours longer and then eventually got tired of it. Well, Overwatch 2 has come out, and it's literally no different. Blizzard said that it was going to be a different game with single player mode, and they didn't release that. It's still just the player versus player mindset. It's still the same types of maps. Some of the same maps from Overwatch 1 are still there. Same heroes, but they've added a few more new ones. The only reason I went back to playing it is because my old static mates from 14, they were excited about playing it when it came out. And so, you know, I wanted to be a part of it. I'll play it. Why not? And now I'm like stuck back in Overwatch. Like, this is the last game that I really need to be hooked on, you know? Like, with how shit the company is with their sexual harassment issues, not paying women properly. Like, I don't want to support the company. But at the same time, there's a lot of really innocent workers that work for Blizzard that made this game possible, that, you know, it's their dream to work on a game dev like team, and this is their pride and joy, and they want people to play this game. They want people to experience the characters they created. They want people to experience the maps they rigged. And I think that's enough to still play the game. And it's sad to think about, like, I don't want to play it because XYZ, Blizzard is a bad company, yada yada. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to play it to have a good time, and I'm going to try to not feel guilty, because there are people that worked on it that deserve their work to be appreciated and seen. So I've been playing a lot of Overwatch 2 lately. I've actually been playing it with different friends than I played Overwatch 1 with. I haven't really been playing with my static mates because, like I said, we don't really talk that much anymore. But I've been playing with my friend, many call me Nick. He is a streamer on Twitch, so selfless plug to him. If you guys need somebody to go watch on Twitch, absolutely recommend you go watch Mini Call Me Nick. He is such an entertaining blah blah guy. I love watching his stuff. He's such a goofball. So I've been playing with him. I've been playing with one of my IRL friends, Emily, because she started playing the game after I fell out of it originally. And so she has more hours on the game than I did in the first one now. She's got more experience playing it. So when we get a chance, we play it together. And some of like my old friends that I just haven't like been in touch with lately, they are going back to Overwatch 2, and I can, add them on my friends list and just talk to all these people that, I didn't think I had much of a connection with anymore, but the power of video games really just brings people together. It's awesome. I was worried when my static broke up that I wouldn't have anybody to talk to, but it's really not been the case. It's been really nice. I'll be honest, it's been really nice. Just getting to play games and shoot the shit with people. I'm just so appreciative of all these video games I've been playing. Whether, I'm playing the Resident Evils by myself and chilling out, or I'm playing Dead by Daylight with Twitter mutuals, or I'm playing Overwatch with some IRL friends that I haven't talked to in a while. It's just been great. It's been a great distraction from school and from work, and really I just can't complain. Like, it's been a stressful time, but really it's just, games are just so helpful for my mental health. They are such a good reset for me. And the games that I've been playing lately have just helped so much. I can't thank these games enough, really. Like, it's been so fun. So, on that note, I am going to go ahead and wrap things up with the podcast. So far, we've talked about Resident Evil 3 Remake, Dead by Daylight, Overwatch 2, and Resident Evil 4. If you guys listening at home have been playing any interesting games on your own or with friends, let me know. I'm always down to try new games. I just love playing video games. I love finding new stuff. Like, I would have never expected to like a horror game, and then I played Resident Evil 2 Remake and my life was changed. And now it's one of my favorite games ever. So I always just try to pay attention to what other people are playing, give it a try. If I don't like it, I don't. If I do, I'll probably get super hyper fixated on it and I'll love it. So I'm always down to hear what other people are playing. That's what I'm playing as of now, and I super appreciate anyone who listened to me talk about video games that I love, because it's just such a passion. It's so fun. The idea of just getting to have a podcast and talk about things that I enjoy is just so cool. It's just so fun. And after this, I'm gonna go play some Dead by Daylight with some friends. So anyway, I'm gonna end the podcast there. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in episode 3.